Tremendous financial damage to untold individuals, families, and businesses at the hands of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Those are the words of the San Diego Republican Party, and they're refusing to sit idly by. They've issued a resolution calling on Governor Newsom to immediately end the statewide lockdown. And joining me now is Tony Krvaric, the chairman of the Republican Party in San Diego County. Tony, thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Governor Newsom has said that he will now allow some more businesses to open in California starting on Friday. That was said just moments ago at his Monday press briefing. He also says, though, that protests and political pressure will not drive his decision making, that the science, data, and public health will drive his decision making. So now what you've heard today from the governor's press briefing, what he had to say to that is the governor giving in to some of the pressure here?
Well, I wish that the governor was listening to science and data. We've had for far too long a governor that's been absolutely paralyzed in decision making, basically frozen in time from 6-7 weeks ago, and and the pressure is building up from the people and people we're talking to that. So about a week ago, we issued a resolution, the first ever resolution calling on the governor to take into consideration local control and local conditions, and also the flip side of this lockdown, which has untold damage, mental, financial, suicides, domestic abuse. So I think the pressure finally got to him, and he's realizing he's living a little bit removed from some of these troubles that the average Californian suffers under. And so the pressure seems to be bubbling up. And in response, looks like he's at least responded to two of our requests, which is to open the beaches and to allow for more local control. But citizens need to keep the pressure on so the governor knows what's at stake here.
Well, in that same press briefing, Tony, the governor announced a new effort to train as many as 20,000 new disease investigators in California to track the virus and to then quarantine those who are infected. He says that that's a critical step in lifting these stay-at-home orders. So I want to get your reaction to that. Is that progress, or is that a critical step, or is that just more of the same?
Well, I think this is when we first started this, the whole goal was to bend the curve so that if anybody in California needs medical help, there will be a bed and there will be treatment for them. That's continued to be changed, and the goalposts are being changed. I'm originally from Sweden. I was born and raised in Sweden. Sweden is doing it right. They're talking to their citizens like they're adults and sovereign citizens, not like they're children, like our governor is doing. And Sweden is not doing contact tracing. Sweden is treating people like adults, explaining the case, asking people to act responsibly. I believe that when San Diegans and Californians have less freedom than the citizens of Sweden, there's a big problem. So I urge Californians to keep the pressure on Governor Newsom and demand our economy back. We can walk and chew gum at the same time, be healthy, follow local health protocols, and open up for business.
Well, we've seen some in Northern California, some counties in Northern California out in the country, the rural counties, going back to business in defiance of the governor. Would you support a hair salon somewhere there in San Diego opening their doors to cut hair?
I think that needs to be decided by the local authorities. That is all we're asking for. The governor does not manage an entire big state. The governor is very fond of calling California a nation state because he kind of wants to differentiate himself from America, which is where President Trump is president. So you cannot govern a nation state, to use his words, with a top-down, one-size-fits-all approach. Bring it down to the counties. The counties know what's best for their local circumstances, demographics, temperature, population, density, all that stuff. And so we're urging the governor to finally, you can see that he's backtracking, he's trying to save face. And either way, as long as he gets to the right conclusion, because the more he treats people like they're serfs and not sovereign citizens, and that they can't make smart decisions for themselves and hold their local elected officials accountable, the worse this is going to get. And there's kind of a powder keg in California. I hate to say it, but I think he's finally getting the message, and the sooner he ends this top-down approach, the better.
Okay, one more quick one, because you are there in San Diego near the border. Reports are showing that Mexico has seen some of their deadliest days over the last week. They saw a spike in cases last week. Going forward, how might this affect the efforts to secure the border down there where you are?
Well, we have a great relationship with our neighbors to the south, but this just proves the point that borders matter. countries matter, and we're now talking about this corona crisis state by state. Well, certainly country by country it matters as well. So we need to have a functioning border, but we definitely need to have more security on the border, and that is exactly what President Trump has been talking about. So we appreciate our neighbors to the south, but we have a renewed appreciation for borders here in Southern California today.
Before we go, should the president lift the pause on immigration that's been put into place, or are you expecting that might linger, the border closure linger, as this coronavirus, as people get back to business? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a legal immigrant from Sweden. I fought very hard to come to this country, follow all the rules, and come here legally. The president is right to put a pause right now. Let's take care of America first, take care of what we have here. Once we solve that problem, we can continue to be a beacon for hope and freedom and liberty to people around the world.
All right, Tony Krvaric with the San Diego Republican Party. As always, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.